Hi folks, welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering. My name's Alec Anderson and I'm talking into a shaving brush outside a dank, damp, dark, windswept Ibrox after Rangers swept aside the dank, dark blues of Dundee and then soaked them up, absorbed it in the second half, and we're down to 10 men to record in the end up a 3-1 win in this afternoon's SPFL Premiership match. If you like to gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, you lose some, it's all the same to me. Now, I don't think those were the most reassuring opening remarks by the chairman, John Bennett, on Wednesday's AGM, but I think we only really need to be worried if they're starting to have the AGM, not in the cavernous New Edmiston House, not in the concert venue that is New Edmiston House downstairs, but maybe if they want to have it upstairs in the cafe. You know, questions from the floor. Question for Mr. Bisgrove: does this training top come in triple XL? You've only got double XLs out here, mate. No, all you see there is all I've got, mate. There's no stock in the back. It's just all the sizes are out on the hangers. We go through the AGM. I think there was a lot of questioning of the questions that were being asked, but that's democracy for you, as far as I'm concerned. The guy who spent all that money in the summer, well, he gets sacked before the end of September, and should we have had a director of football? Well, we're kind of stapling and paper clipping and letter setting together a director of football out of about 3 different roles, and that'll all be set up by January, I would think. So what I'm trying to say is, although there's a few doubts, although we're a bit worried, we got there in the end, and that's kind of been the theme of the week last Sunday. And it's been quite a week. Last Sunday we win 2-0 against St Mirren, but didn't exactly blow them away. We kind of took our time getting that game sorted. Wednesday night through at Tynecastle, played absolutely fantastic in the build-up at times, but it was a long night. The game was never put to bed until that final whistle blew, just winning that game by 1-0 despite all the chances created. And we're losing Danilo through injury, and then we've got the manager making comments yesterday about Jose Mourinho having a tattoo of the Conference League trophy on his arm, but he's actually got a tattoo of the Champions League and the Europa League trophies as well, Phillips. I think that's the kind of point he's trying to make. But you're thinking, is our manager, is the big baldy Belgian, is he getting us ready for copping out of the Europa League on Thursday night? And we find out that Danilo is going to be out until the new year. Tom Lawrence is going to be out until the new year. But the manager gambles. He likes to gamble the day, and he fields 5 changes to the starting 11. And this was just in keeping with the whole kind of, are we going to do this? Are we going to get through this spell? I also heard, as I was sitting in the car and the approach to the Clyde Tunnel, and I left early today because I knew there was going to be a lot of Christmas shoppers heading for Bray Head, and I've got to go through the Clyde Tunnel. What I didn't realise was that they decided to work some roadworks. They decided to dig up the road in the Clyde Tunnel, and it was down to 1 lane, the second last weekend before Christmas. So thanks to whoever that was. I missed the first 5 minutes of kick-off, and I was listening to the manager talking to Jane Lewis of Radio Scotland, and he was saying that, yeah, we've got these 12 games in 37 days. And I said, no, Philip, we're down to, we've played 4 of them already. There's only 8 left. I know we've got fewer days and that, but I think we need to get some breathing space. I think we need to start kind of talking out this congestion, this idea of congestion. It's like I've been the whole week, it was absolutely freezing at the beginning of the week, having to chip the ice off the car first thing in the morning, and then it's so dank and damp and dull as we get towards the shortest day of the year. It's been like permanent night time, and it's total congestion. I'm sitting there, you're only moving an inch at a time, thinking the game's going to kick off. I bet we score a goal early the day after me sitting through that whole thing at Tynecastle the other night where we couldn't get a goal for 15-16 chances, and I've got to pick up the missus tonight to do the old taxi, and having our drunk pals will be in the motor going, nah, like, you're laughing all that, no, come on, what's up, you're no smiling, shut up, and that kind of thing. And it's like we're sorting out the Christmas meal. You get through that Gordian knot of the Christmas tree lights that you've got to get them all sorted to get the decorations up, and it's only going to be up for a couple of weeks anyway. I don't really see the point. And it's like, I mean, what's turkey? It's only 1 day a year. Why can't you just have turkey for 1 day? What have lasagna for Christmas dinner? I've got to sit next to your psychopath sister and your alcoholic auntie. How come I can't just get a turkey like what I want? Everybody else has it. And I think tensions are kind of high at this time of year, I would say. So I want the manager to start talking up the fact there's only 8 games, 7 now of this run of fixtures, and when the starting lineup today, there's 5 changes to the starting lineup for the second weekend game on the trot. And you're seeing that he's dropped young Ross McCausland. We're going to have to go with Dessers up front. I understand that one because Danilo's injured. You've got Big John Souttar in there at the back. Who else do we have? Cifuentes started today, and beside John Lundstrom in the sitting two in midfield in the 4-2-3-1 formation, and Rabbi Matondo coming in on the right-hand side for young Ross McCausland. So, and Borna Barisic is back in instead of Yilmaz. It changes all round again. You're thinking he's gambling, isn't he? He's just going to have to make changes when he can, because I'm looking at Dundee and I'm thinking, yeah, they're 7th in the table, but we beat St Mirren 2-0 at home. They beat St Mirren 4-0 at Dens. And I know they're 7th at the table. They played 2 games less than everybody else. They'd drawn 6 games, won 4 and lost 4. Coming into this today, Tony Docherty, I think he was half the genius behind Derek McInnes's really dour Aberdeen team of the kind of middle of the last decade. But my God, what do they make the current Aberdeen team look like? And I think the manager is gambling here, because we've got Real Betis on Thursday night. He's already putting in the insurance policy there. Conference League's great. Mourinho's got a tattoo, and he's also looking towards this League Cup final and thinking, well, at least he's onto that. He's onto the Aberdeen thing. He knows that they're just absolutely brilliant against us, despite being embarrassing against everybody else. So he's looking ahead to the League Cup final as well, and he's starting to gamble with an ever-reducing pack of cards. But we did it today. We did it, and there was a wee moment just towards half time. Well, 44 minutes I think it would be, where we're 3-1 up. No, we've been a goal down, but we've just scored 3 quick goals. We're playing absolutely lovely. I think Dessers had a shot that gets parried at the last minute by a defender. It comes back out to Todd Cantwell. He fires one in. Great save by the keeper right on the goal line. Comes back out, and I think was it Seema had an overhead kick that came off the bar. We're like, ooh, ah! And we're all up on our feet just applauding, and that's not happened for ages. We're up on our feet just applauding. Great football and a fun atmosphere. And then Jose Cifuentes got himself sent off, and that was it. We're down to 10 men coming into the second half. We're already struggling for players as it is. We're struggling for fitness. You're looking for a rest. You're looking for a break in that Christmas congestion that's psychological as much as physical. And here we are, having to see out a game with 10 men and stretching everybody that's already on the park. But we got there in the end. I was sitting in that. I'm going to keep talking about it. I was sitting in that queue of traffic going into Clyde Tunnel, just watching the clock ticking down. I'd left early because I knew about the Christmas shopping traffic. But no, it was just that the time was easing away, and I thought, I'm not going to make it in time. I'm going to be running the state of me, trying to get into Ibrox for kick-off. It's not going to happen, and guaranteed we'll not score a goal. I thought it must have been a car crash, but the first car crash I saw was just as I got to the top of the steps. It was 6 minutes into the game. I hadn't heard a cheer on my way down to Ibrox, walking along Shield Hall Road and Edmiston Drive, and then I just saw Jackie Butland getting done to turn a great save past his post, get in my seat. I don't really know, because my head was all over the place. Emotions were running high, as was my heart rate, but there was a car crash of a defensive aberration. And Dundee scored the goal. 6-7 minutes into the game, they kind of walked the ball into the net, and they end up easy shot on target for whoever it was that put it away. And you're like, yeah, I officially am a jinx. And but look, Rangers come back into it. I thought we were playing the ball about a lot, playing, not really getting anywhere. There wasn't enough kind of pace for me. There wasn't enough invention. And next thing, Abdallah Seema goes down the wing and pulls it back across. I can't remember really what happened, but we end up with Dessers having a shot. And I was talking about Cyril Dessers after he scored one of his many goals that he scored in all competitions this season. I was talking about the fact that he always has a wee kind of soft shoe touch. He never hammers the ball. The ball just kind of basically rolls over the line, almost like he doesn't know how to put his foot through the ball. That was a big problem. It's his offsides and his inability to thwack the thing. It was something that was really infuriating us earlier in the season. And somebody pointed out, no, he whacked that one he scored at Dens Park when we won 5-0 at Dens. So what are you worried about, Alec? And there was Cyril Dessers doing it again. He had one go, defender blocks it, and then he slashes a shot right across the goalie, right into the opposite top corner. Bang, one each, absolutely fantastic. What was it, 4 or 5 minutes later, it's the old penalty to Rangers. I have no idea what happened. It's up the other end. The end to which I spent the whole day looking. I'm down at the Copeland end of the main stand, and I thought I was going to get to see a lot of close-up football in the second half, but the only goal I saw close-up was Dundee's. But no, next thing it's VAR, and your friend and mine, Mr. Kevin Clancy, goes up to the monitor and comes back, and of course it's a penalty to Rangers. He's been alerted to something, and you're thinking that's by the time Kevin Clancy decides. No, but it can't always mean that when we go to the monitor it's going to be a penalty. I think today's the day, and this is the venue at which I will change that routine for referees. But no, it gave us a penalty, and then Tav gives it the old kind of jumping up and down on the spot, hop, skip, and slashes it with his right foot right across the goalie again into the opposite top corner. Fantastic, 2-1. We're more relaxed. Dundee were still coming at us though. And was it 2-1 or 3-1? Dundee had the ball in the back of our net, foul on the goalie. We check again, VAR. I think it was also an offside involved, but you're never really sure with these things. I think it might have been 3-1 at that point because Abdallah Sima, well, Tav had just, I think Tav would have levelled again with him as joint league top scorer. And then just as he did the other night, Tav sets him up to put him in front of himself. The captain sets up Sima to put him in front of the captain in the top league scorer for Rangers stakes. Maybe top league scorer outright, I think, actually in the whole of the SPFL Premiership. But Tav, great corner from the right hand side, and what a header. Sima, it's on the left hand side, but he comes running right across, gets right across his man to the right hand side, kind of near post-ish, but still quite a bit out, and it was very reminiscent actually of John Souttar's goal against Celtic last season, that 3-0 win against Celtic. It was just boom, in you go there. So that was us, 3-1 up, thinking everything in the garden is rosy. I need to stop using that phrase, I use it every week, because I don't think dream of the day, everything in the garden is rosy. Rosy red was the card that Kevin Clancy eventually showed to Jose Cifuentes. I had no idea what happened. We'd had the ball in the net again as well, and I'd seen Kevin Clancy middle of the park. I think it was Tav, he was saying, had fouled somebody middle of the park. So I wasn't, half the crowd though hadn't watched it and just thought it was actually a goal to Rangers. They thought we'd gone 4-1 up, I think. But no, it was 3-1. But I didn't seem to see what happened with Jose Cifuentes. There's a Dundee player lying in the deck. I think it was a centre forward. Bakayoko, I'm not sure, he's hitting the deck, slapping the grass and saying to the ref, he's hit me. And Clancy goes up and books Cifuentes, which I thought was weird, seeing as he hadn't seen the foul in the first place. And then, sure enough, he gets called over to VAR. And it was more the look in Cifuentes' face, the reaction. He was just, unless he was so raging or so lost or so depressed by it, he couldn't react. But he just seemed to take it as if to say, I know I'm going off here. And Clancy corrects the yellow card, upgrades it to a red. And I don't know, can we appeal that? I'm assuming, maybe I'm being an old man here, maybe the regulations, the rules, the appeal system has moved on. But I'm assuming because it's been upgraded to a red card, it's not 2 yellows, a straight red, that we can appeal that, and Cifuentes will be alright to come in and sit in midfield next week beside John Lundstrom, who is one of our best players just now. But the best moment of the day, by the way, was seeing Michael Mols coming out at half-time to do the half-time draw. The place went crazy, and he was looking, it's just great to see him looking back to full health, and it's getting to the stage where you make the jokes about get the boots on, Michael. It might actually be appropriate today. We're dropping like flies, and we'll get a suspension in there as well. So I've not seen the incident. I don't know how guilty Cifuentes was or not, but off he went just before half-time. And you're thinking, Dundee, I know we beat them 5-0 at Dens, but they've got a good record. Tony Docherty knows what he's doing. Half-time though, the manager, who had already been booked, or he get booked in the second half. Anyway, the manager will get booked. Big Philip, he likes to get in about it. I would like to see that. So I think it was Clancy was starting to get to him. That's what it was. It was Borna Barisic had hauled somebody down and get booked straight away, and it was about 30 seconds after a Dundee player had committed almost exactly the same foul, a hauling a Rangers player to the deck. I think it was Dessers, and no card was shown, and the manager was like, I've had enough of you. And Clancy was like, I've had enough of you. The fourth official reporting, grassing up our big baldy Belgian. But second half, he made changes again right at half time. He took off Todd Cantwell, and he brought on the lesser spotted Dujon Sterling, who's getting lesser spotted as this week has gone on, coming on for Tav at the end of the St Mirren game, and then coming on a bit earlier for Ridvan Yilmaz at Tynecastle. So he come on today in a third position, defensive mid, kind of bolstering things up. He's a big unit, Dujon, and you're thinking, why is he playing? Todd's gone off. We're going to have somebody who's just going to plug that gap, and we're going to hold on to 3-1 now. Who else come off? Somebody else come off. Who was it? Oh, it'll come to me as I go on here. Somebody else was subbed. Was it young Ross McCausland? No, McCausland stayed on, and he played really well. You're shouting at the telly, you're shouting at the screen, you're shouting at your phone, I know. Anyway, we made 2 substitutions, and the thing with Dundee was Docherty waited for 5 minutes When it got to the 50-minute mark, he made 2 substitutions. Like, he'd sussed us out, what we're trying to do in the second half, which seemed to be just going with like kind of 2 up front. Sima stayed on anyway. Matondo went off, and who come on for Matondo? I still can't think. That's absolutely terrible. Matt Heed, as I say, is all over the place. I've still got presents to buy, and I've got people to taxi tonight. But we held in. I thought you're thinking they know what they're doing here. They were getting more energised. You could see they were really going for it, but it never really amounted to anything. I think the way we saw it, the game was quite masterful in the end up. It was really pleasing. Did Dundee have any great chances? They won a free kick right at the edge of the box, which initially I thought might be a penalty, but that nothing came of that, and that was it. Just suddenly the clock was ticking over. I thought Big Sterling did really well. Ross McCausland was fantastic. His game management. That is the substitution. Ross McCausland come on at half time. Sorry, I'm so used to him playing these days. He come on at half time for Matondo, wide on the right hand side. And Dessers doesn't have the pace, okay, but he wasn't doing too badly. A couple of times he's kind of broke through, and he could have made a better decision. He could have got his shot away quicker. But we didn't have a lot of pressure. We weren't catching them in the break a lot, Dundee. So Kamar Roof comes on. I don't know what. 15-20 minutes to go, Kamar Roof come on, and he's as fast or as slow as Dessers these days because of the epic amount of time he spent on the treatment table, Kamar Roof. But he is game management. You spell game management KEMARROOFE or ROFE if you like, but Big Kamar, absolutely fantastic, just taking the tackles, getting that ball sucked into his body from all sorts of impossible punts up the park to him. He really took it on and kind of brought it into himself, won the fouls, and made sure the referee knew he was winning the fouls, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it was fantastic. He really bought us a lot of precious time, and I think there was a moment in the second half with about 5 minutes to go of normal time that summed it up for me. Was Tav pushes forward, he tries to get the ball to Ross McCausland, and Tav's pushed right over the left hand side, so our right flank is totally exposed, so we're playing with a man less. He tries to knock the ball to Ross McCausland. Dundee defender cuts it out, and you're thinking that was absolutely criminal, Tav. But not only does he go and get the ball back, but he chips it over the guy, and then dances around another defender, and then lays it off to Ross McCausland. We are gamblers, you know. It was absolutely fantastic the way we played that game today. We saw it that second half. So the only worry is Fuentes or other holding midfielder that were in that position were very short on. Get out next week's League Cup final, and how knackered the rest of the team are with this game going ahead in Thursday night. All right, mate, how's it going, buddy? Thanks. And but the one I'm forgetting as well, the boys just sent to me there, John Shooter coming in for Connor Goldson today. That was major, and him and Balogun did okay. I've not seen this goal, but I can't really remember what happened at the Dundee goal, but throughout the second half they certainly stepped up a gear and they helped us out. But we got there in the end. That is the main thing. We got the 3 points, and I'm kind of shattered. I'm kind of like overstimulated, and you will be too. You wouldn't have been last night, unfortunately. We couldn't get a preview pod out for you, but today you've probably already seen the other post-match reaction pod coming from inside the stadium from Craig Ray and Brian Archer, those young techno-savvy, dexterous dudes with the quick fingers and that. They'll have their post-match reaction pod up there already, and it'll be a lot more on point than mine. I can tell you, they're proper media guys. I'm just ranting and raving like a worked-up old man, the worked-up old man that I am. And tomorrow night, Brian will be back with a work rate that would put even Abdallah Sima to shame. Sima was fantastic, deserved man of the match officially, but also his work rate is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm just going to mirror that by getting away for the wee sweepy guy. The guy in the wee sweepy truck outside Ibrox. But Abdallah Sima was absolutely fantastic. And Brian has the Sima of the Gersnet podcast. He'll be back on tomorrow night with Ian Duff and Stuart Weir. So that's sure to be a fantastic pod, folks. Pushing up the ante. I know you want to see me read him and weep. The dead man's hand again. Rangers, another 3 points. And we're into a very, very big week. See you, folks.